The time is at hand.
From beautiful Williamson, West Virginia, the gateway to the crackheads, this is In Dark Places, Glitch in the Matrix stories. My boyfriend and I were driving down the highway, coming out of a small valley. We were chatting with music blaring. He's driving, not giving 100% attention to the road. Right before we get to the crest of a small hill, cruise control shuts off, and we slow down just enough to miss a deer that bounded across the road. My boyfriend didn't brake, didn't bump the brake pedal, nor did his finger hit the cruise control off button. It was the last night of winter holiday. I went to bed early. I woke up a few hours later, and I could hear a man talking to me. There was no one in the room, but the man kept talking for a good 10 seconds. Sadly, I couldn't understand what the man was saying. I brushed it off and went back to sleep. I was woken up by my mom's boyfriend 15 minutes later, and he told me my dad had just died. I often have intense dreams, and sometimes they're so funny and random. I post them on my Facebook, and we get a good laugh at them. About a year ago, I dreamed I was sitting up in bed, watching the Olympics, streaming on my computer, while surfing an iPhone, and my husband brought me a cup of coffee in bed. I've never had an iPhone, and I can't stand lounging in bed once I'm awake. Posted it on Facebook, made some jokes, and that was that. Well, I got hit by a nasty sinus infection last week that's whooped me. I also bought my first ever iPhone a couple months ago. A totally unexpected purchase that came about in a weird way. I've been in bed watching the Olympics on my laptop and surfing Facebook, Reddit, etc. on my phone. It hit me like a ton of bricks when my husband walked in with a cup of coffee for me the day before yesterday. Suddenly, every detail of my dream rushed back to me. It was the same design of the coffee cup he picked. We have a ton of them, and none match. What he was wearing was the same. My viewpoint/angle was the same. Even the sun's lighting in the room was exactly the same. Just to make sure, I logged on to Facebook and went back to my timeline to the post I'd made about the dream a year ago. Sure enough, there it is, detail for detail. Now it makes me want to start a dream journal to reference whenever I get a case of deja vu. A few years ago, I was having some pretty bad anxiety, so I decided to go for a drive. I got on the highway, put on a playlist, and decided that I would drive as far as the music took me and then come home. I drove from Denver, Colorado to Santa Fe, New Mexico. Along the way, just after Raton Pass, in a little town there, I wanted to stretch my legs. It was maybe 11 or 12 at night at this point, and I stopped at a rest stop at the top of a little hill. Got out, had a cigarette, and talked with a guy who was also having a cigarette. He told me about how he makes this trip once a year, and that I should probably not go into the bathrooms, as it felt like you were being watched in there. I thanked him for his advice, and we looked at the edge of the nearby mountain range and then decided to part ways. He left first, and I followed his car down the little hill and back onto the highway. Pretty soon, I did not see his taillights anymore, but thought nothing of it. I finally got to Santa Fe as my playlist of music was ending, and decided I would turn around and head back to Denver, as I didn't have enough money for either gas or a hotel room. I slept on the side of the road that night and got back to Denver around 3 or 4 the next afternoon. I called my significant other, and she wanted to go on an adventure and said that her friend had a place we could stay in Albuquerque. I scooped her up and her friend, and we went off. I told them about the night before, meeting the nice guy at the rest stop. Her friend said something to the effect of, "There isn't any rest stops just after Raton Pass." I called BS, and sure enough, she was right. The rest stop I had gone to was nowhere to be seen. Not a single one along the way, tucked up on a hill the way that one was. So every time that my significant other and I make that drive now, the topic of vanishing rest stop comes up. And it looks like that's about all of the Glitch in the Matrix stories I've got for you this week. Thanks for listening. Really appreciate you. I'll see you again next time. God bless.